Hello, everyone, and welcome to ACT Practice for English. This is Mr. Aker. Remember, on the ACT English test, there are 75 questions to answer in 45 minutes. It's a lot of questions to do in a short amount of time. Leaves you about 40 seconds per question. This style of question, though, is a style that you can answer pretty quickly. If you look at the answer choices or over at the numbers on the right side, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then below that 5, none of these have questions. They're all just changing some sort of punctuation. You can see that just by quickly glancing at it. In the passage, the A no change answer has 2 commas. This B has 1 comma. C has 1 comma and a period. D has no commas. Okay, now automatically my attention is drawn to this C answer because none of the other answers are like that. C is going to create 2 complete sentences. A comma by itself does not correctly join 2 complete sentences. If it has a conjunction like and or any of the fanboys, then it is correct, but that's not here. And this one is a similar type situation that if B and D and A are correct, they're all somewhat similar. So I'm going to check C first. In order for this to be correct, C, I need a complete sentence on both sides. So let me go to the passage. Start at this period here. It wasn't particularly glamorous, though. Period. Capitalize M. My teammates and I sometimes rose as early as 5 o'clock in the morning to practice. It wasn't particularly glamorous, though, is a complete sentence. My teammates and I sometimes rose as early as 5 o'clock in the morning to practice is also a complete sentence. So C is correct. Okay, but let's just go through and check to make sure why the others are not. It wasn't particularly glamorous, comma, though, comma, my teammates. Well, we already know we have a complete sentence on both sides. We can't just throw in a comma and a word like though. Though, when it's used with a complete sentence, automatically creates a dependent clause or an incomplete sentence. For instance, if you said, though it wasn't particularly glamorous, now it's not a complete idea. But that's not an option, and we're not worried about it. Really, it would be nice to remove the word though, but that is not any of our options. We have to include it, right? So if we get rid of this comma, as in answer choice B, then we have, it wasn't particularly glamorous though, comma, still the same problem. We're joining 2 complete clauses with just a comma. And then D, we've got a run-on sentence because there is no punctuation. Right? So C is the best answer. Okay, so remember, when you have 1 comma on either side and only on one side of the comma, can there be a complete sentence? If you have a complete sentence on both sides of just a comma with no conjunction, that is incorrect. Okay, so here what we were able to do is pick out C as the most unique answer because it's the only one that creates 2 sentences, and tried that one first. So we can either eliminate a unique answer, or more often than not, it may be that unique answer. And in this case, it is confirmed. C is the correct answer. So if we go look at number 2, being out on the water was, comma, however, comma, exhilarating. All right. So once again, I'm going to start with my most unique answer. It's testing commas, but this answer choice G, has a semicolon. Now, a semicolon has to have a complete sentence on both sides of it. So let's check. Being out on the water was. If we were to have a semicolon here, we're saying that's a complete sentence. It does not have a complete thought, but let's check the other side too, just to be sure. We would be left with, however, exhilarating. That's definitely not a sentence, so it's not G. Okay, so then the other options have a comma, but being out, or they only have 1 comma, H and J only have 1 comma on either side of however. But exhilarating is part of this sentence. Being out on the water was exhilarating. We can't separate that thought with just 1 comma. So however here has to have a comma on both sides. So it's going to be F, no change. If we look at number 3, feeling the wind whip through my hair made me feel energized, comma, and excited. Now this one is testing commas and conjunctions. And remember, if we want to have a comma and a conjunction like and on both sides, it needs to be a complete sentence. Feeling the wind whip through my hair made me feel energized, obviously is, and excited, obviously is not a complete sentence. So we got to get rid of this comma here. And that's going to be answer choice D. Okay, there's no reason to add a comma and comma here, and the comma doesn't go after and ever. Well, I shouldn't say ever, but practically never. Number 4, you can see parentheses. All right, parentheses are just like commas or dashes, though they have a more of an element of like, this isn't said out loud. It's like a thought that the speaker or the writer, the narrator has. But generally speaking, you don't need both of them together. Okay. Today, comma, I still love sailing, comma, although the boats I sail in are slightly larger than a bathtub, parenthesis, comma. All right. So here we've got commas working with the parentheses. Okay. We don't need both. So that would lead us to answer choice G. However, the ACT is trying to trick us here. We have to be careful because look at the word that comes after this comma. And, oh gosh, I need to check this to make sure I don't have a complete sentence on both sides, because if I do, then I have to have this comma. And although it's weird and unlike a sentence I would write in real life, I would need the parentheses and the comma. So we say today, comma, I still love sailing, delete this comma, although the boats I sail in are so large. Well, really, we can read this sentence without this. So today, I still love sailing, comma, and I have even participated in competitions. I still love sailing is a complete sentence. I have even participated in competitions is a complete sentence. So I have to keep this comma here. That would lead me to answer choice J. Okay. So why don't you try number 5 on your own? Focus on the unique answer first. That's the one that's unlike all the others. And then have your teacher pause the video, or teachers, if you please pause the video. Give them about 10, 15 seconds to work on this one. And I'll go over the answer in a second. So hopefully you've had some time to practice. So when I was invited to report, well, let me just start like this way. Look at answer choice C. It is the most unique. Let's try it. So when I was invited to report, period, that's not a complete sentence. So when I. Okay, so we know it's not that. All right, that didn't work as well as it did on the one above, did it? All right, well, let's find the complete sentence. So when I was invited to report on a sailing race in California last year, all of that has to go together. But the sentence is here. I immediately said yes. So this comma on the right side has a complete sentence. On the left side needs to be an incomplete sentence, or just a clause or phrase. But we have this comma here that's breaking it up, making it seem like this part. So when I was invited to report goes with this and is separate from that. However, this prepositional phrase goes with this. We can't separate it with a comma. So the correct answer choice is B. This phrase, or this dependent clause, so to speak, so when I was invited to report on a sailing race in California last year, comma, leads to the complete sentence of I immediately said yes. All right, so in general, start with the most unique answer choice first, and if it works grammatically, then it's the right answer because there aren't any other like it, which worked for us for number 1 and 2, or it helped us in number 2, but it was the answer for number 1. And number 5, it didn't quite work as well either, but it gave us a good idea on where the sentence was. We found it here at the end, which made it a little bit easier to find where we should put the comma. All right, hopefully that helps some. We'll go over some more answers on the next time.